for you and the power you possess. In your satin tights, fighting for your rights, and the old red, white, and blue.
Hey guys, it's Philly. This is U.S. Government and Politics, one of my favorite courses to teach. We're going to start way back at the beginning with the Declaration of Independence. We're going to find out we stole a bunch of stuff from other people, but we did create a system that has lasted longer than any other that's a democracy. What? It's not a democracy? Oh yeah, it's not really a democracy. It's a republic or democratic republic. We'll find out what that means. We can still call it a democracy. We're going to find out how these guys decided to break free from England, which is crazy because they were like the most powerful country in the world and we had like slingshots and pitchforks and we won the war. I think it struck them by surprise too. They put together these Articles of Confederation, which were a terrible idea, but they get back together and they decided to make the Constitution as we know it. It's a short document. It's like 4 pages, 4 really big pages, but it lays out the framework for the laws. We'll find out that the framework is there. The laws are made later by the legislature. We'll have all kinds of arguments and fights about how that Constitution has come into play. One of them is from big states to little states because Vermont didn't even have Ben and Jerry's back then. So they had nothing going for it. They wanted some representation. We're going to find out how that's how we got the Senate and the House of Representatives. Also, it was pretty dicey and hot in Philadelphia when they made the Constitution. Some say that body odor was the reason why the Constitution didn't have a Bill of Rights in it. Because it was so hot in there and they're wearing wool and they couldn't open the windows. It was just, let's get out of here, guys. Take a bath. Well, I don't know. So they get together in Philadelphia. They make this Constitution. They get through all of these compromises. One was so nice, they called it the Great Compromise, which was a biggie. Some bad things came out of it, like the 3/5 compromise. We kind of ignore it. That's when African Americans were 3/5 of a person. But overall, these things came together as compromises to give us the Constitution of the United States. And it's a great document and it's a great form of government. Because we were so afraid of a king or someone becoming so great in power, we divided things up. We take it for granted now that we have the judicial branch, the legislative branch, and the president, and there's checks and balances so no one can get too powerful. They also divided power up between the states and the federal government and defined who had each power. There was a lot of people saying, we don't want to give you that much power. They don't want to have too much power. And it was because they wanted to put power in the hands of the people, the voters, the democracy part, instead of a king. They also came out with that genius electoral college, which we just learned about. It's quizzing. It's a little weird. We're going to learn where it came from, because if you actually know where it came from, it does kind of make sense. The Constitution was also wise enough, and these cats who wrote it were wise enough to say you can change it. And because the Constitution can be changed, they call them amendments, it's going to give us rights like the freedom of speech, the freedom of press, your right to not just be arrested because you were walking down the street. All those things came from the Bill of Rights, which is the first 10 amendments. As we move forward, we're going to change the Constitution and give the women the right to vote. We're going to give African Americans the right to vote. We're actually going to free them from slavery and so many more things. That's the brilliance of the Constitution, is that we can change it. So the system we're going to be learning about is the greatest system in the world. Only in America, the United States of America, can we have Baby Yoda. We can think it's a good idea to eat hot dogs. We can go to a movie in our car. Only in America would someone think to put a Mentos in a Diet Coke. Not to mention spray cheese. In the United States of America, you can choose to buy a car that gets 6 miles to the gallon. And you could drive that car 3 blocks to go to the grocery store and circle that block 3 times to find a parking spot. We have a World Series. It really doesn't contain anywhere near the whole world. Only in America could my wife get a drive-through coffee. We fought for our freedoms, but yet we only have one color on our money? Look around the rest of the world. We deep fry everything. We supersize everything. When I was a kid in America, I bought a pet rock. Only in America could we have a bodybuilder and a professional wrestler to become governors. Only in America could an actor who was in a movie with a monkey, Ronald Reagan, become president. We have the Star-Spangled Banner and Fortnite. And that, my friends, is the product of the greatest constitution and government system that has ever faced the world. Spoken like a true American, welcome to U.S. Government and Politics.